Hi everyone, my name is Teraka. I created the Codad TAS, low percent TAS, that came out about a month ago now. And in this video I'm gonna try to explain how I created it, how Necrodancer Replay works, and show a bit the tools I used to make it, and show the process for each level, from getting to the level to completing it. So here you can see the time I worked on each individual level. So first few levels were pretty easy. 1, 2 took 3 hours because I remade it 3 times. The first version you can actually see in the Zone 1 preview, which came out about a week before the completed TAs. And after that I realized at some point that I could do it faster, so I remade it and then remade it the third time when I found the third solution again. But after that, yeah, you can see Zone 4 was really hard, all levels above 2 hours, especially for 2, which took me legitimately 3 hours. And yeah, we'll see that a bit later. So first, let's... so that's a Necrodancer replay. It's, the first thing you'll notice is it's completely unreadable. There's numbers everywhere, there's symbols where there's no numbers, and yeah, it's just a huge mess. And if you've done a bit of programming, or maybe in CSS it's the same, I'm not sure, but for people who are familiar with programming, they'll notice there's all these \n's everywhere. And that's actually, I'm not sure how they did this, but that's supposed to be a new line character. So when you put \n in a text file, it's supposed to convert it to be a new line. So you'd have all of them on consecutive lines instead of all 13,000 characters on the same. And you can actually do that on any decent text editor. If we do just that, there we go. That's a lot better. So the basic things up there's just, you know, that's a version number, that's, you know, numbers to tell if it's in dense pad mode, if it's in seeded mode, if it's in jiggle zone, like all kinds of stuff. But for most normal hardcode mode replays, they'll all be the same, like that, until the DLC comes out and there'll be a new version number. Yay. So that's the final time. So in what's it in? Like, that's the number of seconds and then number of milliseconds or something like that. So because the replays aren't particularly reliable in terms of keeping the time, especially if you fast forward or slow it down, and they don't they keep the time moving when the boss screen appears. When in game it doesn't actually move, so the time is a bit unreliable. So to fix that, they just store it directly in the file. And then there's the number of levels you played. So for a completed run, that's be 16. That's the level seed. So you can see there's actually a seed for each individual level. And then the number of players, that's just the field of view, don't worry about that. The interesting part is this one. That's the interesting part. That's all the movements of the first player, and then the second player in there. And if you have only one player, all that will be just not exist. So you can see in bit 0 it moves in direction 1, bit 2 moves in direction 0, bit 4 direction 0, etc. That's in clockwise order, so 0 is up, 1 is right, 2 is down, 3 is left. And then the bit numbers actually are increased by 2 because of boots of speed. Because for those who don't know, boots of speed was an item back in beta that allowed you to move in between bits, so before enemy moves. So you could move twice a bit where enemies only moved once a bit. And it was removed partly because it was extremely overpowered, because you could move twice as much as the enemies, and because it caused an enormous amount of glitches everywhere, with replays, with desyncs, with everything. So they just decided to remove it. But that stays in the replay, so there's still room for moving in between bits. So yeah, in this case, obviously, since it's DAD mode, both players move exactly the same way. And then you have, that's the RNG manipulation, so mostly for bats, but I know for a fact that it also influences the Shrine of Luck, so it decides if you get an item, and maybe what type of item you get, I'm not sure, I didn't really test that exhaustively, and it probably affects a few other things, like maybe the Conjurer Shop or something, but I didn't really test that. But yeah, that's the RNG, and in this run in particular, I only use it for bats. But yeah, it's the same principle, except it's not the same values as the player movements. So 0, if I recall correctly, it's like 0 is right, 1 is left, 2 is up, 3 is down. That's probably completely wrong, but you get the idea. Yeah, I'll go into that bit in a bit more detail later when we can actually see bats. And then the last line is empty here, because it's the teleports value. So if I go find, for example, here, that one is, which one is that? 8 minus 10 minus 13 minus 3, so that must be death metal, I think. I don't know, but anyways, yeah, that's the... No, that's 3-3, yeah. The famous 3-3, yeah, we'll get back to that in a bit. But yeah, I can manipulate directly the teleport coordinates for any teleport, so post teleports, teleport traps, pink monkeys, and that's it. Chrome teleportation, maybe, I'm not sure. But yeah, that's the random teleport coordinates. But in this one, technically I could have made it like teleported death metal right next to a Codad every time I hit it, but I tried to put teleports that were actually legitimately obtainable in game. I think I kind of followed guidelines from what I could observe, but as far as I can tell, it's close enough that it doesn't really matter, so who cares? And yeah, so the way you do a Necronauts TAS is to get the original replay file, you could build it from scratch. What I do is I just start a game with Codad low percent, and then I die in like 3 seconds, and then I just take the replay and edit it. And for my Codad TAS, I actually modified all this by hand, believe it or not. I ended up, at the start I didn't even do that, but I ended up making a Python script so that I could use WASD movement to generate a string of movements like that, because it's much easier. But at the start I didn't even do that, so yeah, that was a pain in the ass, because on top of that there's two more things I didn't mention. That's the number of bits in this list, or a number of entries in this list, I guess, and that's the bit at which the level ends. So most of the time when you either die, take the stairs, or take a trapdoor. So the thing is, modifying those numbers isn't too hard, because once you've done it for a couple hours, you know which direction is up, which direction is down. That's not really a problem. What's a problem though is you have to update that number each time, because if that's higher than the number of bits you have there, when you load the replay, the game crashes, and you have to take like 20 seconds to restart it. And if you don't update that number correctly, you just die when you get there, because if the game gets to that bit and you don't exit the level, it just makes you take a trapdoor instantly. I'm not sure why that chose that solution, but that's how it works, so yeah. And yeah, so previously with Codad it just killed you. So yeah, it's a bit of a pain, because you change that, and once in a while you just forget to update it, or you can't incorrectly, and it just crashes and you have to restart, and it's really annoying. You don't have to want to deal with that when you're already trying to think through a Codad TAS. So I made a quick script to... No, sorry. so yeah, that was a pain in the ass in the Codad TAS. So for the Codad TAS, given that it was gonna be a lot longer to make, and I knew that from the start because, well, it's Codad. So yeah, I made this. So this, I'm not sure exactly how much time on it, but it allows you to load a replay file, and then you can see visually all the directions on the bit count that corresponds. You can see the level it's in, the mode it's in, and you can just, like, you know, edit level 1 to 3, and then say I want to change after bit 98 because that sequence doesn't work, so just delete that and then add, you know, movements. And yeah, I have keys to put, like, well, most of them are useless in this TAS, but I put them for completion's sake. Except the throw. The throw is very, very important. So yeah, I can just change that, and then I can put it in override mode. So say here, instead of down down and to go up up, I can just change those without, etc. So and it takes care of all the stupid numbers that so I don't have to update that manually, and that's a really, really good thing. So yeah, that's why the Codad TAS only took 9 hours more to make than the Codad TAS, because of this. And I put link to it in the video description if you want to try it out for yourself. Maybe I'll make a readme file. Maybe it's yeah, I might make a readme file. There's a bit of complicated stuff. Anyways, yeah, so that's how I did the replays. And then how you actually create a TAS is you have the original replay file, so from the game when you shoot died in 3 seconds. You load it up, you make changes given how you died and how the level starts, and then you play the level, and it looks like this. And yeah, you die. And then you film that with a software, video recording software. You load up the video, you look at it, you go, okay, that doesn't work, I'm gonna have to try to go vertically there, to go through there, so how do I do that? I'm gonna go to the left, I'm gonna try to, etc. You modify it, you save, reload the replay, start it again, and that looks like that. So yeah, then you get killed by a skeleton, and then you try again. There we go, there. You make a little mistake here, you get killed by the wall, you'll get killed by everything it's in if you're making a Codad TAS. So yeah, let's just try and write in, given that it's already running. So the first thing you'll want to do in each level is obviously discovering it. That's actually a bit of the annoying part, because at first, you only see the entrance room, so you don't actually know what's in the level or where the exit is. Sometimes it takes a bit of time to just find the exit. And just moving around the level isn't really easy when you're trying to when it's hard to just navigate a room, because sometimes you just make one mistake and you'll hit a stone wall or something. So yeah, sometimes it takes a while. This time I was half lucky when it's 1-1, so it's relatively easy to predict where the boss is. And yeah, you can see it's pretty hard, because you have to, once you have a video, you have to think, okay, so let's take this one. Actually, that's a terrible example. Let's wait just a little bit. This first time is pretty much over. So yeah, that 1-1 I did that so 3 times, just like 1-2. That's the version that was, I believe, in the, well, not that one, but the next one. That was in the Zone 1 preview. And then, since you have to rewatch the replay every time you make a change, so you see again 1-1 every time you make a change, or through Zone 2, or through Zone 3, or through Zone 4. So you see 1-1 a lot of times. So every time you see the level, And yeah, sometimes I just change the zoom level. Every time I see the level again, I have more chance to see if there's something I can do faster. And in this case, yeah, I tried to do a bit of a faster way. I think that one was barely faster, if at all. I think it was a bit faster because I didn't go under the slimes. I went like that above the slimes. So I think it was a couple bits faster. But yeah, then that's the third time, I believe. Yeah, that's the start of the third time. And yeah, again, just dying. And every time. So it's like this one, for example. Let's say I just made those modifications and I recorded this video. So you see, okay, I went there, I killed the 2 skeletons, the monkey, and now I'm here. So what you have to do once you're there is, okay, the dragon just moved, so I'm gonna need to attack it. Then if I move to the right, it's gonna move in here. I'm gonna have one Codad here, one here. This wall is gonna be dug up since that one tried to move right. And then if I try to attack it to the left, this Codad is gonna attack it, but this one is gonna die. If I try to attack it down, this Codad is gonna try to dig the stone wall. Let's see, if I move to the right, I'm gonna have 2 Codads there. This wall is gonna be dug, the dragon is gonna be here, ready to move, and then I can't move to the right because this one is gonna die to the stone wall. I can't move to the left because this one is gonna attack the dragon and die. I can't move up because this one is just gonna dig here, and this one is not gonna move and it's gonna get killed by the dragon. So that's what you have to do every single time you make a change. You take the video, you go, okay, what can I do from here? What did I do wrong? In this case, there's nothing I did wrong because I just die from waiting, because there's nothing after that. But yeah, you have to think about it. That's a very simple situation. There's a lot of dirt walls. I have lots of space to go up. There's only one green dragon which doesn't attack except for moving, and which only moves once every 2 bits. So it's a very simple situation. I already have to think a bit about how to escape this. So let's see how I did. So again, same situation. Yep, I try to run away. That's a right choice. And then I just die in gold because you can't see that far ahead. But yeah, that's pretty much the entirety of the TAS. And then you just die to slimes because you didn't count that far ahead. And then, yeah, use the skeleton as a debuffer, and then we go. That was 1-1. So let's load up 1-2. So yeah, 1-2, as I said, I remade it 3 times, so there's a lot of clips to go through. So yeah, from the start, that was pretty easy. That was, really straightforward. The first corridor. Just go down, the ghost blocks itself really perfectly, and then yeah, just the bat is a bit annoying, but as I said, yeah. So yeah, what I was saying about bat RNG, it's a bit interesting actually, because the way people think it works, well, the only people I've talked about about replay formats thought that it worked by storing the direction the bat moved in the replay file, but that's not exactly what happens. What happens is the game draws a random integer from 0 to 3, which corresponds to the direction the bat is supposed to move. But then, if the bat is blocked, it's gonna move in another direction. So if, let's say 0 is up, and this bat receives a 0, randomly, it's gonna try to go up. Because it's gonna say I can't go up, so it's gonna try to go left. And if it can't go left, this is an enemy there, or a chest, or a player, or whatever. Well, not a player. It's gonna attack it, but you get a player with like a charm. and then it's gonna go right, and then if right is blocked as well, but it's gonna go down. And the thing that makes it really hard to manipulate more than one bat, because one bat is really easy, you just tell it, you have to know exactly when it started moving. So in this case you can see here, and here it moves to the right. So that's the first movement it made, and that's very important because the data you have in the replay file is in increasing order. So you have to know when it starts to be able to tell exactly at which frame it's going to be at which position. So yeah, you have to keep track of that. And for one bat it's really easy, because even if you don't get the starting bit correctly, you're gonna see that really fast, and you can add one or remove one, or just adapt it. It's not too bad. And once you know, you can just tell it, okay, then you move down, left, left, up, left, so you're not in my way. So that's really easy. It's one more thing to keep track of, because you can't manipulate the enemies directly. So you have to manipulate them by your movements, but that's kind of part of the thing. But manipulating a bat's movement means you have one more tool to change the flow of the level. So it can make things a bit more complicated, but overall, it's just one bat, and usually you're not gonna try to make it do anything fancy. You're just gonna try to make it go in the corner and just stay there. But when it gets really complicated is when you have multiple bats, especially bat caves. Bat caves are a nightmare. They're impossible to manipulate, because when you have multiple bats, all the randomly generated numbers that determine the movements are in the same line. So you can see, for example, 4, 4, 4, 3, 4, 2. That's 4, 2. And there's a bat cave at the end of 4, 2, and there's an individual bat in the second room, I believe. So you can see that's my solution to dealing with bat cave. I just put a whole bunch of numbers and I hope it works, and it did, so good thing. But yeah, the problem with bat caves is that you have all the numbers in one sequence. You have no way to distinguish which number corresponds to which bat on which bit. And the way it works is more or less, I'm not entirely sure on the details, but the way it works is on each bit you have one number per bat, and maybe the bats that can't move at all don't even get a number. I'm not sure about that, but that's a possibility, which makes things even more complicated. But yeah, basically on each bit, each bat that can move probably gets a number, and they're determined in order of proximity to the player. So the bat that's closest to the player will get the first number in the bit, and then the second closest, and then etc. But there's multiple things that complicate that even further. So first, I'm not sure how it's determined when two bats are equal distances from the player. So if two bats are both 2 steps away from the player, which one moves first? I have no idea. And even worse, if there's 3 or 4 bats at the same distance, I don't know. Plus, it's just like when you're editing this, suppose you can keep track of which bats move where, which move first, which etc. When you're editing this, you have to keep in mind exactly which bat corresponds to which bit. And if you kill bats, that means that each bit is going to have one less. It's a nightmare, you can't keep track of it. So yeah, on top of that, on multiplayer, you have 2 players, so I'm not even sure which distance to which player counts, and what happens if a bat is equally distant from 2 players. And yeah, so don't deal with bat caves. Don't manipulate bat caves if you can't. Or just do what I did for 2 and just hope. Anyways, that was my tangent for bat RNG. So for one bat, it's not too bad, as I said. So yeah, you can see here I manipulated it so it goes above, so it just goes to there and just doesn't bother anyone. And yeah, you can see it's getting pretty complicated. There's a lot of slimes here, and it doesn't look like much. Like if you play Cadence, you just kill one slime. Maybe you wanna go fast and you avoid killing the blue, going under. But with two Codas, you have to keep in mind every time you kill an enemy, it's gonna leave gold on the ground, and that means that's a space where you'll never be able to go through unless you can detonate a bomb near it, and unless you use some tricks with teleport runes, but we'll see that later. That's a fun thing that wasn't in the TAS, but yeah. So yeah, you have to keep in mind that every time you kill an enemy, that's a space you won't be able to get through. So yeah, just a real simple pattern like that with three slimes is already really hard, and I was really happy when I found that. Just look at that one. It's completed, I think. Yeah, just look at that. Everything dies to the bomb, and most of the gold is gone. That's amazing. And I think that's the version that's in the Zone 1 preview. And then yeah, you can see every time you find a new room, you're gonna die to something stupid because you can't see it. And the Minotaur just gets in. And it wrecks stuff. I had a really hard time with Minotaur. Let's see, actually, we're on 14. Yeah, that's soon. So all those clips, all that up to that point, up to exactly clip 18, so we're on 16, so yeah, in a few clips. That was, December 10th, 2015. So yeah, up to that clip was the last one I got this day, and then I just lost interest. I just moved on to something else. Anyways, I stopped working on it because I thought it's gonna be too complicated. It's not really worth it. And then I don't know why, but yeah, March 12th, I got interested in the game again, and I started working on it again. And I tried to make it work, and it's really hard. Yeah, that Minotaur caused me a lot of problems. Yeah, because the ghost make things complicated. I tried to go down there, but there's slimes everywhere. There's a monkey that gets behind that. Yeah, you can see when I stop. When I keep recording like that after dying, usually it's because I'm just okay. How do I do this? And yeah, I tried to make it work, going down there, but it didn't. So I think I actually thought about it for a long time, and I tried in my head all the different possibilities, and I realized there's actually nothing I can do to make this work. Like, there's no pattern of movements that's gonna allow me to kill the Minotaur, keep both Codas alive, and still have an exit path. Because you have to keep in mind, I don't just have to kill the Minotaur, I have to also get to the exit. So yeah, I just decided, okay, that's not gonna work. That's just not. So yeah, I tried to go up, and that was the start of that's actually what prompted me to do the Zone 1 preview, because once I found out that I could do this, yeah, the level just got a lot easier. And yeah, there's still a lot of manipulation. I started to realize that I actually was gonna have a really hard time to exit the level, because if you look at that, there's stone wall, stone wall, stone wall, stone walls. Sorry, gold. A torch there, so you have to be in a configuration like you have to go through there, which means you have to have both Codas in a certain position, and then you have to reposition them and go through there, and there's a ghost and a monkey, and yeah, there's so much shit. Yeah, I started realizing, okay, that's not gonna work. So I started using the Minotaur, well, playing with the idea of using the Minotaur to reposition myself. So that's what all of that was. So all of that, you can see how much time I take. I could kill it right here. I could do that. But I went there, did that, and then kill it that way. Just I don't think I planned to be vertical. I don't remember exactly. That was yeah, over a month ago, so I'm not sure exactly what I thought. But yeah, you can see, yeah, all the trouble I took to be horizontal, and that way I could exit through there. Yeah. The goal was to use the Minotaur to destroy that stone wall, so that I could exit with both Codas horizontal through there. And that worked, and I think that's the version that's in the Zone 1 preview. And yeah, you can see after each little puzzle, you know, that's you just enter a new one and you just get killed immediately, because yeah, it's impossible to plan that far ahead. And there's gonna be a lot of that. A lot of people were enthusiastic at the idea of seeing a video like this, of seeing, you know, all the mistakes I made on the way, all the different iterations the run went through. And yeah, there you go. That's one too. And then I realized, hey, I can just do that. How easy is that? And actually, it was easy. And then I realized, yeah, there's a monkey, there's a skeleton, and actually with all the way, like, I can't go directly down because of the monkey on the skeleton. So yeah, and yeah, that was later, as I said. The version that was before that was the version that was in Zone 1 preview, so when the previous clip ended, that's when I had already done all of Zone 1, so that's why it goes so far into 1.3. And yeah, so that worked, but I wasn't really happy with it. First, I noticed this skeleton in the Zone 1 preview I actually kill, even though once it lost its head, it's not a threat anymore. I don't have to kill it, I don't have to waste a bit to kill it. So, and I realized the way I killed the monkey and the skeleton by going back up and then around, and then it was really slow, it wasn't really satisfying, so I decided to try to do it faster. And it was worth it, I think. Especially since if you keep in mind, yeah, that didn't work. If you keep in mind that that I have to rewatch the replay every time I make a change. Like, if I improve 1-1 by 5 seconds, or 1-2 by 5 seconds, that's gonna be 5 seconds less in every single time I rewatch the replay. So over time, it's really worth it, even just for me, even not for optimizing the run. And yeah, I found out that I could just break the wall like that. And yeah, I tried to throw stats, but yeah, that didn't work too well. And yeah, originally I planned to exit through there, but I realized, yeah, it's too cramped. Look at the shape of it, there's the T in there. I'd have to, if both Codas were vertical, they'd be stuck here, they couldn't move right or left or down. So they had to be in a weird shape, like one here, and then they could move like that, and then, yeah, but it didn't really work, so yeah, so I kind of combined the idea of going through there with, and I tried a lot of stuff, and actually, at some point in there, I'm not sure exactly where, but at some point, yeah, I think there, I thought about using a leprechaun strat to clear up gold. And it didn't work. Mostly because you have to wait 7 bits or 8 bits for it to spawn, so it would have been slow, and yeah, I couldn't wait that much time because the ghost was coming and there was god everywhere anyway, so yeah, cool idea, but yeah, didn't work. So yeah, that's the final version of the Minotaur kill. I was pretty happy because that way both Codas are separated, and that's one thing I love to do because it's so much messier. You can see once they start to get separated, it's like when they're next to each other, you know, it's like if there's two enemies coming next to each other too, you can just attack both. If there's a wall, you can dig it and the other Codad just bumps on the first one but doesn't die. And you know, there's a lot of stuff you can do, and it's, you know, and it's a bit like playing one player but with a bit more constraints. But when they separated like that, it's like they're both in a completely different place and they're both fighting different enemies, and it's just so much fun trying to figure it out really good to make it work, and I did. So yeah, just, you know, I really like when I finish a level and it's like that, you know, it's just like, okay, you reach the exit and it dies, okay. But yeah, it's, you know, that's really easy to fix, just not like that. Oh, okay, there's a clip missing at the end, but that's fine, that's okay. Let's go to 1-3. 1-3 was surprisingly easy because oh hey, there it is. Okay, I misclassified my clips. Okay, that's fine. But yeah, yeah, the monkey, the white monkey. Yeah, white monkeys are the worst thing in the universe. That's a fact. You can't do anything worse than a white monkey. And it took me so much time to just, like, look at that. Okay, I enter the level. Wait, that's not, let's take there we go. I entered the level, and all of that was just to kill the white monkey. All of that movement all around. I had to move like 10 bits to kill one monkey, so yeah. That's not cool, Ryan. Please please remove white monkeys. So yeah. One cool thing about red dragons is that you don't have to look for the exit, because they're just like, hey, I'm here, but my exit is down there, you're going to go there, I'm gonna open the path for you. There you go, it's open. And yeah, that's really nice of them. And that makes it so much more convenient. And then yeah, you can do fun stuff with red dragons with 2 players, because red dragons have the highest priority. That's something you don't know. There we go. That's what I was talking about. There's something you don't know in single player because it's a situation that never happens. But red dragons have the highest priority on breathing fire if they can. So if there's a player in front of them, and if they haven't breathed fire in the last 4 bits, or 3, however it works. And that means you can do fun stuff like that. So when you're solo, if you're moving up like that, you can do the last 2 hits on a dragon on consecutive beats, because the last hit is gonna kill them and they can't move if they're dead, and you have priority of them. But something you can't do on solo and you can do in multiplayer is hit it, and then here, let's slow it down a bit, you can, there we go, you can hit it again, because it breathes fire on the other player, and then do the last killing hit. That's something pretty cool. I think I only use that. I use that a bit more here in Tutu. Use that a couple times. So yeah, that's yeah. I had a lot of fun when I found that. That was cool. I like that this is a thing. So yeah, that allows me to kill the dragon pretty fast. And then yeah, I think, was it in the last clip? Yeah, discover that. Yeah, you can see. When I went down there, you can see that, and there's a ghost, and there's a monkey, and there's stone walls everywhere, and you just see that, you're like, what am I gonna do with that? Like, you can't kill enemies in there, because they're gonna level down, you have no way to go through. You could go all the way around, but it's long, and you have to dig, and yeah, it's messy. And yeah, you just see that, and you're like, a ghost and a monkey, are you serious? Like, those are probably the 2 worst enemies in a Codad TAS because you can't create 3 of them. And then yeah, I tried to just rush it. At first it didn't work because the monkey just gets on the exit because he's an asshole, because he's a monkey. And yeah, that didn't work either. I tried to rush it by not agreeing him, actually. That's what happened there. I thought maybe if I go down there, it's not gonna aggro and it's gonna stay there and I'm gonna have the time to go to the exit before he gets to me, but yeah, that didn't work. And yeah, then yeah, I tried that again. I'm not sure if it's the exact same one as the one before, but it's the same result. And then I tried that and it worked. And I was like, okay, that works. That's fine. It just worked. Like, there you go, level over. Okay, thanks. So yeah, later I deleted those clips because it didn't work to anything, but I tried again later to optimize it a bit because I thought I could go faster, especially on the white monkey kill. It was really slow, so I tried to do something faster, but it turns out the white monkey kill doesn't really matter if it's that slow because you have to wait for the dragon anyways to destroy the walls, so yeah. Yeah, but that's 1-3. And then first boss, 1-4. King Konga. So yeah, there's that trick for those who don't know. Okay, that's a terrible video to demonstrate it. For those who don't know, when you throw a weapon, you can't actually throw him through another player. So if you're in melee range of another player, you're just not gonna throw it. Look at here, the symbol, it says this one is ready to throw, and once the first one throws, this one just bumps it to him, because he can't throw, because he's right there. But this one throws it here, so when you move left a second time, this one will just move left, and this one throws his dagger in the no weapon spot. And then you just move left a third time to pick up the daggers, and you have both Codas separated by 1 space. And apparently it was Ilad Difficult who found that technique, and I'm really thankful if it's really him, because without that the Codad TAS wouldn't have been possible, so thank you. Yeah, fun fact, you can actually survive for the first bit, so I'm probably gonna use that to survive as Codorian, if I do a Codad Dorian TAS, if I do it, no promises, please don't, yeah. So yeah, you can just move up, so this one moves here, this one digs but is invincible for the first bit, and then by moving right you have one here, one here, and then you can exit, because Dorian can't throw his dagger. So yeah, I think that's gonna work. Anyways, so fun thing about Konga, you'd think the missing bits would be annoying when you edit the replay, but actually that's how I thought at first it worked. I thought you had to mark it as a missed bit on the missing bits, because they're missing. But the way it works is actually those are consecutive bits. There's nothing in between. They're just different delays between the bits. So you just leave the inputs as consecutive bits, and it works. So yeah, that was a lot simpler to deal with than I thought it would be. And yeah, for most boss rooms you just have to move up until you encounter something. And yeah, I tried to do the standard method there of just doing, you know, left right, and yeah, of course it doesn't work with Codad. Why would it work? But you never know, it, you know, yeah. Yeah, there are traits something fancy. I think I just wanted to hit the speed up trap in case it worked, but yeah, it didn't. And yeah, here I realized I could probably manipulate them to move like in pairs. So yeah, that's what I did. And it didn't work exactly how I planned, but yeah, it works pretty well. So I can't kill 2 at a time every 4 bits, sorry, so yeah, that saves a lot of time. And then, yeah, then once you got here, you're a bit stuck, because they're gonna move on to the next bit. Yeah, anyways, Yeah, I moved to the right because, yeah, no, sorry, once you're, yeah, if you kill them here, on the next bit, you can't keep killing two at once. Basically, that was the idea, I think. You can't, again, that was 1 month ago, so I don't remember exactly all the thought process I had for the children. But yeah, if I went, whether it went, well, if I went right, I couldn't survive after that because the zombies would have moved up the bit after that, and so I couldn't just move right again for both Codas to be here, and I couldn't move up because the throne was there, and I couldn't move down because gold was there, so I couldn't move right. And if I moved left, I had to move up then and then run to the left, and then it would have been slow, and yeah, I don't like being slow. Originally I planned to not optimize it, to just finish it, just see if it was possible. Originally I wasn't sure if it was even technically possible to finish Codad low percent. But now that I've done it, I'm pretty sure it's doable with every seed. I'm like 95% sure, except for, seeds that have rooms with crypt walls, with traps that bounce you to the entrance. Yeah. Except Messier level generation like that, I'm pretty sure all seeds are technically feasible with Codad low percent. Even if we have to take a lot of time, like backtracking, taking your time to kill the boss, taking a lot of time to kill each enemy, every seed is possible, I'm almost certain. But yeah, so originally I didn't want to optimize it, really. I didn't want to make a TAS. I wanted to make just a super play, just proving it was possible. But I couldn't go slow because it's boring. And I didn't want to be boring, so yeah, I went fast. But I'm happy with the result. Sub 4 is, I didn't expect to get sub 4. That's just crazy. So yeah, anyways, that's why I went to the right, because that way I can't keep killing two at once. And then kill the ghost at the same time. And yeah, then it gets a bit complicated because the red zombies move every bit, with the individual ones. And that's what makes killing the end of the line really complicated. As you can see for the last one, I'm gonna have a really hard time because not in that one because I died anyways, but yeah, here you can see it really well. Once I kill the second to last zombie, this one is waiting a bit before moving, and it doesn't matter if it's supposed to move on that bit or if it's supposed to wait a bit. It doesn't matter the state of the zombie, of the conga line at that point when I kill the second to last one. It's gonna wait a bit regardless, which means it's always gonna be offset with me. Or no, it's gonna move on the next bit. It's not gonna wait, it's always gonna move. Which means it's always gonna be offset with the coda that kills the second to last zombie. And which means in this level I have to offset myself with something else to be able to kill it, because otherwise I'm never gonna be able to actually attack it. So yeah, that makes things very complicated. For those, I was lucky that they were just in a line. And yeah, then I tried to offset myself. I thought a lot about, I don't remember exactly when, in terms of the clips, I found the solution. Yeah, I tried that. That was cool. I think that might even have worked. You see, there I could kill the last one, but then I realized something else, is that I need to exit the level. That's not obvious when you're working on that, and when you're working, bit by bit, advancing maybe 2, 3, maybe 5 bits if it's an easy passage. But yeah, you have to realize I have to exit the level. Look at the gold. There's gold there, all the way there. There's gold there, so I can't exit to it that way. I have to exit to that way. And what's the shape of the exit? It's the exact same as the shape of the entrance. So that means I have to be, to exit, I have to either have both codas vertically, so like that, so that I can use the same trick with the daggers to offset them one space and then go through the exit. Or I have to have them far enough that one can go through the exit and the other is still around there. But at that point I didn't like that, I didn't want to do that, even though I ended up doing it for the other boss levels, so who cares. I might... no, I couldn't have done it on that level anyways, because Conga just rushes you, so yeah. I couldn't move them away from each other. Maybe I could have. Anyways, that doesn't really matter. The point is, I had to have a very specific configuration to be able to move them. And once they're separated, you can't move them together with a dagger trick. That only works to separate them one spot. So yeah, that's when I started to really think about how I wanted to fight Conga. And when I realized that doing it that way, that's what I was talking about too. You can, sorry, it's a bit of a tangent, but you can define, well, you have to define the teleport coordinates in the replay file, as we talked in the beginning. So if you don't do that, they just teleport in the default location, which I assume is 0, 0, and 0, 0 for all levels is the entrance stairs, when the stairs fall, well, there's not stairs even in boss levels. Anyways, the entrance spot, so the center of the 5x5 entrance room. In Zone 3 it's a bit mushier, you can't really see the entrance room. In Zone 2 it's easy because there's mushrooms. In Zone 1 it's surrounded by walls, and same in Zone 4. But even in Zone 3 there's always you can see there's always a 5x5 empty space around you when you spawn. So the center of that zone is 0, 0 in the coordinates, and yeah, I assume that's the default teleport coordinates, but I didn't check because I don't really care. So yeah, so if you didn't define any teleport coordinates, the first time you're gonna hit the boss, it's gonna just teleport wherever. So that's not really practical. And then yeah, you have to edit the teleport coordinates. Watch the replay again. Make sure you don't edit it at the wrong place and just jump into gold randomly, like I did there. That's, yeah, don't do that. And yeah, here I think I figured out, yeah, that I had to be in another configuration for it to work. I figured out that with the configuration there was no way I could fight Conga and then be in the right positions to exit the level. So that's when I tried something new, and here I realized I could actually move below them, I think. Yeah, I could move below them and attack both at the same time, eliminating the problem of the red zombie, which is great. And yeah, after that, just kill Conga. Hit him once, teleport him, check where he teleports, calculate how he's gonna move, how you're gonna move to respond to that, and then hit another attack, and there you go. There. Yeah, one extra little trick that I didn't find out until way later. So let's actually load the actual one. Let's go to 1.3. One small detail that's really cool. Look very closely there. You can prep the throw on the bit you jump on the stairs. Not on the bit you jump on the stairs, but on the bit just after that. You can still do actions once you're on that stairs, and of course the Codad that's not on the stairs can still do whatever he wants. You just can't move, of course, with the Codad that's on the stairs. So you can actually prep the throw on the previous level, and then throw the dagger on the very first bit of the level instead of having to prep and then throw on the level. So it saves you 1 bit per boss level, so it saves 4 entire bits in the entire run. So that's great. Anyways, yeah, that's just a cool little thing. I thought that was awesome when I discovered it. Yeah, it's fun. Anyways, so yeah, that's 1.4.